Wednesday. Today we are moving forward with topic 14 and we are up to changing metric units, which changing is just a synonym for converting. So just how last week we converted customer units, this week we are going to be converting metric units, okay? So we're setting things up a little bit differently this week, so I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a layout so you know what you're up against. So today we are going to work all on changing metric units. You guys are going to practice them. I'm going to provide you guys with tools to help make this simpler for you, and you will be doing the R page today. What page are y'all doing today? The R page, okay? And the reason for that is tomorrow we are going to spend more time on this. If we were in school normally, we weren't doing this virtually, we would actually be spending 2 days or maybe 3 days on this topic, on this lesson, I should say, to really make sure that you guys understand what to do as far as converting the units. So we just really want to make sure that you guys are set up and prepared for this. So today we're going to be working on the R page. Tomorrow I'm going to post a video of myself doing a couple of these problems so that you guys can really see how I'm actually doing it, aside from me showing you guys on here in a little bit. So I'm going to do just like I did last week, and then you guys will work on your P page tomorrow, okay? You don't have a math test tomorrow. Your math test is actually going to be next week. So on Monday and Tuesday, we are going to finish up topic 14, and then on Wednesday we're going to unlock the test for you guys, and that's the day that we want you to do the test. But of course we understand things may come up, so we're going to give you a week from Wednesday, okay? And then that's a nice way for us to finish up our math topic with topic 14 before you guys are off for a few days for Memorial Day weekend. I can't even believe we're already there. All right, so let's get started. Before we get started, I want to review with you guys because you know me, I love to do a quick review. On Monday this week, we talked all about how to use the metric system to measure units of length, and the base unit for that was 1 meter. Okay, we want to think about a meter kind of like a yardstick in length. It's just a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. Okay, on Tuesday, we talked all about the metric units of capacity, which capacity is the amount of space inside of a container, how much it can hold, like the maximum amount that it can hold. And the base unit for that is 1 liter. And we said you can think about a 32-ounce bottle of water for that, or you could envision half of that 2-liter bottle of soda. Yesterday, we talked all about the metric units for mass, which is the amount of matter that an object contains. It's slightly different than weight because weight is dependent upon the gravitational pull on an object, and mass would stay the same if it was in outer space. Weight would change, okay? You would actually weigh a lot less in outer space. So today we're going to be talking all about how we can convert those units. And just like when we were using the customary system, we need to stay in our lane. So what I mean by that is we can convert any of the units of length. So we can convert a kilometer to a millimeter to a centimeter to a decimeter to a decameter to any of those meters. As long as it has that word meter, we can convert it, okay? But I cannot, it is impossible for me to convert a kilometer to a centiliter or a milliliter. It's not possible because one measures length and one measures capacity. All right, let's get started. So we're changing metric units just like we had a table for the customer units. We're going to have one for metric units as well, which I will provide to you guys. I'll show you in a little bit what I'm actually going to send to you guys as a PDF so that you can use it as a tool to help you out. We also have a monarch butterfly here, and the wingspan. Wingspan is how long something is from end to end, from wing to wing, okay? And it's 10 cm. Cm stands for centimeters, okay?
How do you change metric units? Think about this question during the lesson. This table can be used to change one metric unit of measure to another.
So just how our customary units helped us, we had our cheat sheet for that. We have our cheat sheet for metric units as well.
How many millimeters are in 1 centimeter?
So in order for me to do that, I have to go to my length category because the base word here, the root word, is meters, as you guys can see. So I know meters does not measure capacity. Meters does not measure weight, or this should say mass. So I'm going to the length column and I'm looking for millimeters and centimeters. So mm and cm. So I'm going down, right here. 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters.
There are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. A large monarch butterfly's wingspan is about 10 centimeters long. How long is this in millimeters?
Okay.
Let's find out.
So we are going from centimeters to millimeters. So if I look at my table here, I have 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters. So that means that both of these measurements take up the same amount of space. Which one takes more of the unit to fill the same space? Because that's going to be our smaller unit. Which unit is smaller, a centimeter or 1 millimeter? If you're saying 1 centimeter, you are absolutely correct, okay? So we are trying to convert from centimeters to millimeters. So we're going from a large unit to a small unit. Now, I know you guys already heard it in my voice. I have that tone going. If we're going from a large unit to a small unit, we multiply. I hope all of y'all are doing your chant and your hand signals with me because they really do help you remember, okay? So large, small, multiply. All right.
What operation do you use to change from larger units to smaller units?
Y'all already know large, small, multiply.
To change from larger units to smaller units, multiply. What number would you multiply 10 by to find how long the monarch butterfly's wingspan is in millimeters?
All right, so now what we have to do is we have to go back to our cheat sheet and figure it out, okay? So we have 1 centimeter equals 10 millimeters. So we don't have 1 centimeter, we have 10 centimeters, and we're trying to convert that to millimeters. So what would we have to multiply this 10 by? 10 times how many millimeters are in 1 centimeter? Well, that would be 10 times 10.
To find how long the monarch butterfly's wingspan is in millimeters, multiply by 10. How long is the large monarch butterfly's wingspan in millimeters?
10 times 10 is 100, so it is about 100 millimeters.
Is about 100 millimeters. A small monarch butterfly's wingspan is about 60 millimeters long. How long is this in centimeters?
Okay, so
let's find out.
Now what we're doing is we're not going from centimeters to millimeters. Now we're going from millimeters to centimeters. So we have reversed our order here. So now instead of going from a large unit to a small unit, we are going to be going from a small unit to a large unit. So we are going to divide, okay? So we're going to take 60 and divide it by 10, because in 1 centimeter there are, sorry, a bug, it scared me. In 1 centimeter there are 10 millimeters, so therefore we have to divide this 60 millimeters by 10.
What operation would you use to find the length of the small butterfly's wingspan in centimeters? To change from smaller units to larger units, divide.
Small,
what number would
large,
you divide 60 by
divide
to find how long the monarch butterfly's wingspan is in centimeters?
So if we look up here, again, this is where we're pulling that 10 from. 1 centimeter is equal to 10 millimeters, so we're going to divide this 60 millimeters by 10.
To find how long the butterfly's wingspan is in centimeters, divide by 10. What is the wingspan of a small monarch butterfly?
And 60 divided by 10
is 6. A small monarch butterfly's wingspan is about 6 centimeters long. How many millimeters smaller is the smaller monarch butterfly's wingspan than the larger monarch butterfly's wingspan?
Okay, so now they're asking us what the difference is between the larger monarch butterfly's wingspan and the smaller monarch butterfly's wingspan. So if they're asking us for the difference, what operation do y'all think that we would need to use? If you know it, shout it out at the screen right now. And if you're saying subtraction, give yourself a nice pat on the back. You are absolutely correct.
The smaller monarch butterfly's wingspan is 40 millimeters smaller than the larger monarch butterfly's wingspan. Now you know how to change metric units.
All right, so we can definitely change metric units the same way that we change customary units. And if you felt comfortable with doing it this way, then do it this way. But y'all remember what I like to say, what my grandpa tells me, there's a million ways to make a meatloaf and they're all pretty good. I personally have found a different way that works better for me for converting with the metric units. It does not work with the customary units. It only works with the metric units because if you remember, the metric units, they go in order. If you go to the left, they are multiplied by 10. If you go to the right, they are divided by 10. It's kind of just like place value, and that's how I like to think about conversions with metric units. So as we do our quiz today, I'm actually going to show you guys how I go about doing that, okay? So this first problem is asking me how many milliliters, and I'm just going to write it down here for myself so that I don't make a mistake. How many milliliters are there in 425 liters? Okay, so liters to milliliters. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to provide all of you guys with this as a tool to help you, okay? So you can see here, I have this big tool, and on the top of it, it says, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk. Okay, the K in king stands for kilo, which is 1,000. It's worth 1,000. The H in Henry stands for hecto, which stands for 100 of whatever the unit is. Okay, the D in doesn't stands for deca, which represents 10 of whatever the unit is, the value of 10. The U stands for the base unit, and we have at this point learned about all three of the ways that we can measure using the metric system. We have learned about the meter, which measures length. We have learned about the liter, which measures capacity, and we have learned about the gram, which measures mass. Okay, so all three of these could potentially be the base unit. It works for all of them. Okay, but 1 meter is 1 meter. A liter is just 1 liter. A gram is just 1 gram. Okay, so I like to think about this as my ones place, my tens place, my hundreds place, and my thousands place. That's where I'm getting my place value from. Okay, and then once we go beyond the 1 whole to the right of 1 whole, I actually could even put my decimal point here to really make this a visual for you guys. Okay, once I go beyond my point of my 1 whole, I get into my decimals or my fractions. Okay, so deci, the word drink represents deci, which stands for 1/10. As a fraction, it's represented like this. As a decimal, it's represented like this. You read them both the exact same way, okay? Chocolate, the C in chocolate stands for centi, okay? Centi stands for 1/100th, or 100th, again, read the same way as a decimal and a fraction. And then milk stands for milli, so 1/1000th as a decimal and as a fraction. Okay, so as long as you guys remember this, King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk, you will be golden for your metric conversions. Okay, so let's figure out how we can use this. Okay, we've got this fancy chart. How can we use this to help us with our metric conversions? Well, because if we go this way, we're multiplying by 10. 1 times 10 is 10. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. It just works. And if I'm going the opposite direction, 1,000 divided by 100, divided by 10 is 100. 100 divided by 10 is 10. 10 divided by 10 is 1. We can just simply plug in the numbers, move around the decimal point, add some zeros, and get our answer. It's really super cool, but you've got to watch closely, okay? So make sure you've got your good watching eyes, your good listening ears. We are going to get started. Okay, so our first problem asked us how many milliliters there are in 425 liters. Okay, so the unit I'm ending with is the liter, and I'm just going to highlight that for you guys so that you remember that's what we're using. I'm in the liter. So I have 425. If I was setting this up like a place value chart, I have a 4 in my hundreds place. I have a 2 in my tens place, and I have a 5 in my ones place. And then technically, whether you knew it or not, there is an imaginary decimal point right there because that is where it ends. That's the space in between 1 and anything smaller than 1, okay? So I notice how my decimal point is ending at my unit. So I have 425 liters. I can draw a line perfectly. 425, go up liters, okay? So I want to go from liters to milliliters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my decimal point and I'm going to move it to the end of the milliliter box. So I go here. I'm not at the end of milliliter. I'm at the end of decimeter. So that doesn't work. I'm going to move it here. I'm at the end of centiliter. Centiliter. That's not where I'm going. I'm going to move it here. I'm at the end of milliliter. That's where I'm going. So now I move my decimal point, but I have all these empty boxes. What do you guys think I should do with those empty boxes? What should I add there? If you're saying add zeros, I absolutely agree with you. So now what we've done is Now what we've done is we've converted from 425 liters to 425,000 milliliters. Technically, I would have a comma right here because remember, 3 spaces after the decimal point, you add a comma. So this would be read as 425,000. Now let's go to our quiz and see if that's an option. We have 42 and 5/10 of a milliliter, 425 milliliters, 425,000 milliliters, or 4 and 25 hundredths of a milliliter. We figured it out. It is C, so we're going to keep going, okay? The next problem we have is 14,500 milliliters. And we want to know how many liters that is, okay? So we're actually going to be working the opposite direction on our chart, and it still works. So let's see how it works. Hang on, let me get my chart back up. We're still in the liters, so I'm going to keep that highlighted. I'm going to erase out everything that I had. And if you guys are doing this at home, I can actually add some extra columns in here for you guys so that you don't have to erase. I'll do that before I print and send it to you guys. But you could just draw your decimal point in there or just use your eraser as your decimal point. Just visualize where it would go and just bounce it along, okay? So this time we have 14,500 milliliters. Now, I have to enter it in with the last digit, the digit in the ones place in the column. So if my unit is milliliters, my ones place has to be here at milli. So I'm adding a 0 there, a 0 there, a 5 here, a 4 here, and a 1 here, okay? Because now I technically have 14,500 milliliters. So I'm reading it across 14,500 milliliters. And I want to convert that to liters. So what I have to do is I have to move my decimal point to the left because I'm dividing here. Remember, small to large divide. We're going from a small unit to a large unit, so milliliters to liters. So I'm dividing. And because we're dividing by 10, all I have to do is knock off some of these zeros. So if I move it one place, I would be at centiliters. That's not what I'm converting to, so I'm going to keep going. If I move it 2 places, I'm at the end of the deciliter column. We're not converting to deciliters, we're converting to liters. So I'm going to move it again. Now I am at the end of the liter column. If I look at it, I have 14 and 5/10. These zeros they become invisible. They don't count anymore, okay? So I have 14, 1 in my tens place, 4 in my ones place, and 5/10, depending on where my decimal point is. So let's see if that's an option. It is 14 and 5/10 is our best choice, okay? Let's look at another one. Now we're trying to see how many liters there are in 750 milliliters. So the same thing that we did before. So I'm starting at milliliters. So I'm moving my decimal point to milliliters. And now I have 750. Remember that ones place of the number has to be in the column of that unit. So we're at milliliters. My ones place is going here. I have a 0, I have a 5, and I have a 7. 750 milliliters. milliliters, okay? But I want to convert this to liters, so I have to take my decimal point and move it. If I move it one place, I'm at centiliters. That's not where I'm converting to. If I move it two places, I'm at deciliters. That's not where I'm going to either. If I move it three places, I am at the end of my liter column. Now there's nothing here, and nothing here technically represents 0. So it is less than 1 whole liter, which would make sense because milliliters is 1/1000th of a liter. So 750 milliliters is actually equivalent to 75 hundredths of a liter. So we're going to be looking for 0.75. Nope, nope, nope. There it is. So we have 0 and 75 hundredths, okay? Now we have how many milliliters are there in 32 liters. So I can actually keep my decimal point here because the end unit is liters, and this decimal point is at the end of the liter column. I have a 2 in my ones place and a 3 in my tens place. 32 has a value of 2 in the ones and 3 in the tens. And I want to go, let me just double check. Yep, we're going to milliliters. I want to go from 32 liters to milliliters. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bounce down my decimal point. So I move it one place, I would be at deciliters. That's not what I'm converting to, so I'm going to keep going. Two places, I would be at centiliters. Again, not my goal, so I'm going to keep going. If I stop here, I am at milliliters, but I have all these empty boxes. What do I do with those empty boxes? What do I fill them with? If you're saying zeros, you are absolutely correct. So 32 liters is now equivalent to 32,000 milliliters. And that makes perfect sense because 1 liter is 1,000 milliliters. So we had 32 liters, that would be 32,000 milliliters, okay? So 32,000 milliliters is our answer. And we're going to do one more. This one could be a little bit tricky because of the decimal point, but y'all, I have every single confidence in your ability to do this, and I'm going to walk you through it, okay? So we have 3 2/10 of a liter. So that's a little weird because normally our decimal point just goes after the unit. So I have 3 2/10. So normally it would go after the number, but it's not after the number. What we've been doing all along is after the unit. So it would go exactly after liter, 3 whole liters and then 2/10 of a liter, okay? So we're going from here to milliliters. So I'm going to bounce my decimal point. If I moved it here, it would be 32 deciliters. That's not what I'm changing to. If I moved it here, it would be 320 centiliters, but I'm not going to centiliters. If I move it here, it brings me to 3,200 milliliters, and that's what I'm trying to convert to. So 3,200 milliliters is an option for us. Let's check out to make sure that we are correct. Let's hit our drum roll. Woof! We did it! Yay! Okay, so what I'm going to do for you guys, I minimized the wrong thing. Hang on. What I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to clear out my my sheet here, and I am going to add some additional columns, or rows I should say. I'm going to add additional rows to this for you. So just how I have the row here that I've been working in, I'm going to add a bunch of them. I'm going to delete the decimal point because it doesn't help you guys having a decimal point just on the page, okay? But I want you guys to remember to use your decimal point to help you navigate this. I will, again, add those extra rows so you don't have to keep erasing. If you want to erase, do that. If you don't have a way of printing this, just draw this in your notebook. Copy it down. You don't have to necessarily write the King Henry doesn't usually drink chocolate milk, but if it's going to help you, do that. Write it down. I do definitely want you to have all of this kilo, hecto, deca, and then what the values are of each one to help you with your conversions. So today you guys are doing R14-9, And tomorrow we're going to do some more conversions, and then you guys are going to do P14-9. If you need any help with this, please send me a message on Class Dojo. I will do my best to help you guys out. I'm so, again, I say it every day, but I really am so proud of you guys and all the work that's coming in. You are blowing me away. I am honored and proud to be your teacher. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Stay strong, stay healthy. I will talk to you all tomorrow. Take care.